What happened this weekend? What lies ahead? Analysis and insight from the inside. This is Big Orange. Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
This is Big Orange Rewind with the voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, and VolQuest.com's Brent Hubbs.
So glad to have you with us for the penultimate Big Orange Rewind.
Don't be using.
Is that the right word?
Don't be using big words to start this.
I think
program.
that's right, but I don't know.
No big words are allowed.
Next one is the last one.
It's the finale.
The finale for the school year. And that'll be big because we're on live, and the NCAA tournament pairings will be announced while we're on. And so we will be able to hit the hot buttons with you and get the reactions right away from you about where Tennessee is going in the NCAA tournament. We will also be able to preview the start of spring practice, which begins the next day. We will also talk about the Vols' first SEC baseball series at Georgia. We will also talk about the Lady Vols' first softball series of the year on the road as they play at Mississippi State.
Yeah, first true road series for them, road games.
But they've got an interesting week this week. They play in Columbia, Tennessee, against Austin Peay in what is a great event in Murray County to promote the game of softball, for everybody who loves it, and as they try to continue to build support throughout the state. And that's something the Lady Vols have taken part in. That's Tuesday. And then Wednesday they go to Lipscomb as they head out on their way to Mississippi State. Of course, school's off this week, spring break.
Well, and probably smart scheduling to get the road experience because you've played, in Clearwater, Florida twice. You've been places, but there've been neutral site games. You've kind of settled in at the hotel for the whole week. This is a different road mentality. So it's a part of a scheduling plan that probably benefits this team. And I would imagine Karen Weekly, when she made this schedule, it fell well when she got the SEC schedule that she had a road series here. Let's do this on the road during spring break because there's nothing going on campus. And I've got a young softball team. I'm playing a lot of young players.
Playing a lot of young players and new players with the transfers. You're right. Vol Network text line is 865-657-1278. If you would like to submit a question or a comment, we would appreciate it. The Vol Network text line, 865-657-1278. Time for the Rackley Roofing Recap, a breakdown of Tennessee athletics from this past week, presented by Rackley Roofing, transforming the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Rackley Roofing, the proud official roofer of the Tennessee Volunteers. All right, so Tennessee is going to play in the SEC tournament at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville 25 minutes after the first game on Thursday. So here's what's going to happen. First night, game one, or first morning, it's an 11:30 Central Time game. LSU against Kentucky, 16 against 9. Do you think anybody in the Bluegrass ever thought they would be playing on the first?
No.
I mean, Kentucky has to win 5 games to win the SEC tournament.
I would say there was a lot of the Big Blue Nation scrambling to try to find hotel rooms for Wednesday night because that's a new phenomenon.
Or Tuesday night.
Tuesday
because the game's so early. It's 11:30 Central. Then Mississippi State will play Auburn in the 13-12 game 25 minutes after game 1 ends. Game 3 on Wednesday, Ole Miss, the 15 seed, against Texas, the 10 seed. That is at 6 Central, followed 25 minutes after the conclusion of Game 3 by 14 seed South Carolina and 11 seed Oklahoma. By the way, 11 seed Oklahoma is the team you do not want to play in this tournament.
No.
They've won 6 of their last 8 and 4 in a row.
Yeah, they've figured it out. They've started to figure it out.
Okay. So whoever wins, I'll work backward.
Okay.
Whoever wins Game 4, South Carolina or Oklahoma, will play Texas A&M, the 6th seed, on Thursday night. The other Thursday night will pit Georgia, the 7th seed, against the winner of Ole Miss, Texas. First game of the day, Missouri will play the winner of LSU and Kentucky. Missouri's the 8th seed. 25 minutes after the conclusion of Missouri and the winner of LSU, Kentucky, it's Tennessee playing in Nashville. Probably be roughly 2 o'clock Central Time, roughly, maybe 2:15 Central Time. They will play the winner of Mississippi State and Auburn. If Tennessee were to win that game, they would play at the same time, which is mid-afternoon on Friday, against the 4th seed Vanderbilt. So they would see Vanderbilt for the 3rd time in the space of 19 days. All right, what do you think about the Vols draw?
I don't dislike it. I don't. I think Auburn and Mississippi State is interesting. Hubbard's a great player. He doesn't have a lot of help around him. Obviously, that's why they've struggled this year. Where is Auburn right now? Kind of where are they? I know some people still kind of have them a little bit on the bubble maybe and still trying to potentially play their way into the tournament. Listen, they're capable. We saw them winning Gainesville, Florida, right? That they are a capable basketball team who has not played with any kind of consistency this year.
Well, they started off 1-2, and then they ripped off 4 wins in a row. When they came to Knoxville, they were the hottest team in the league on January 31st. Tennessee beats them, and they've only won 2 times since, which is just almost bizarre.
Yeah, it is. And so you kind of wonder where both of those teams are, just from their mental approach. So from that standpoint, I like Tennessee's draw fine on Thursday. And then I don't have any problem with Tennessee playing Vanderbilt in a quick turnaround like that. You know the scout. You know what you got in front of you. Vanderbilt beat you last. I don't dislike that. I don't dislike that draw at all.
All right, so let me set up what comes next. If Tennessee were to win their first game and then to beat Vanderbilt, no predictions, just going through the bracket. On the other end of the bracket, Alabama's the 2 seed and Arkansas is the 3 seed. I think it's highly feasible that Alabama's going to play Arkansas in the semifinals. It's a good draw for both of them.
Georgia's the sneaky deal because that's been a tough matchup for Alabama.
It has been.
I think Alabama wins, but
if Georgia gets out of their first game.
If Georgia gets out of their first game.
Because if they end up with Texas, they might have real issues with Texas. But that's the bottom. If Tennessee wins their 2, their semifinal opponent more than likely is going to be Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Florida won the SEC by 3 games. When it was all said and done, they ended up winning by 3 games. It was tight for a minute. Then they had a little breathing room. 3 games.
Yeah, most complete team in the league.
But here's what's really bizarre. Do you know who beat them?
They lost Auburn.
They lost to Auburn, who's the 12 seed, and they lost to Missouri, who's the 8 seed. That tells you what a goofy year it is in the SEC and why, for whatever we're saying about the teams who have to play on the first night and the second day and all that, I mean, this could really go to 12 or 13 teams, maybe. I mean, listen, if Auburn beats Mississippi State, I mean, they can certainly beat Tennessee and Vanderbilt both.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could make it all the way, and then they would play a Florida team they've beaten. Florida lost to the 8th seed Missouri and the 12th seed Auburn.
Welcome to college basketball.
And neither was considered, I mean, listen, Auburn going into Gainesville and winning was a big deal. But, I mean, Auburn's been to 2 Final Fours it didn't exactly shock you.
Well, and at that point, they were playing good basketball.
Really good basketball.
It wasn't like this was we snapped a 7-game losing streak or a 5-game losing streak with the win.
They weren't 6-10 when they went in there.
Yeah, so Florida is going to be everybody's favorite to win it. Right now, Florida's projected as a 1 seed by a lot of people in the bracketology for the NCAA tournament. Arkansas winning yesterday with Acuff and street clothes was maybe the most impressive thing that happened this weekend in the SEC. Because I just didn't think they could. I didn't think they could manage a game. It took overtime, but I didn't think they could win a game without him because he's been so valuable to them to win that game without him playing.
And he totally runs them.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's his show. For them to produce offensively the way they did yesterday without him on the floor tells me that there's more to Arkansas than maybe we think potentially.
Well, they've got a ton of talent. I mean, Brazil's a good player, and I mean they've got good shooters. But he keeps them together.
He does.
He makes them all stay in line.
But for whatever reason, they stayed in line yesterday.
And the other thing that's happened with them that is so different than when we saw them at the start of the conference season, Billy Richmond's just gone crazy. Mm-hmm. He was, how they were describing him early in the season. Oh, he's their engine. He's their – I mean, everybody's got one of those guys. Billy Richmond's played at the second half of the year. He may be first-team all-conference second half of the year. He won't be for the whole season,
right.
But he on the offensive and the defensive end, he's been phenomenal and has given them something totally different. Yeah, Arkansas is an interesting club. I mean, if they get the right draw in the tournament, wouldn't shock me in the least to see them in the Final Four.
I mean, yeah, and they've got a lot of tools that – I mean, to me what's interesting, Florida looks like the most complete because they can play inside out. They've got size. When their guards are making shots, they can win the whole thing.
You just said the word.
When their guards are making shots.
No, the word win.
Yeah.
Because their guards – now, they've won 11 straight.
Right.
It's been a while, but in the pre-conference and in the early part of the conference season, their guards would get that glitch like I do on my phone when I'm driving through the woods and I can't hear anymore,
So, but to me, they're going to be everybody's darling out of the SEC, right? Then there's Arkansas, who everybody's going to go, okay, they got a chance. After that,
Alabama.
Yeah,
But
I mean, do they have if they get the right draw and they make a bunch and they make perimeter jump shots, fine. But I mean, like, where are they going to be?
I'll say this: if they had Bediako, they're a completely different NCAA tournament team,
right?
Because they lack that one more post. I mean, Florida's got 12 guys in the post. I mean, it's like what.
My point is, it's an interesting league.
It is
because it's one of those deals where nobody's rated real high aside from, I guess, Florida. And it's like, how good is this league? But then you start looking and go, well, they might make a run.
Just to your point, though, I can see some of the teams we've just been discussing getting upset in the first round of the NCAA tournament if they have a short out one day. I don't think that happens to Florida, but I think anybody else, it can happen. I don't know that it can happen to Arkansas because I just don't know that Acuff will let it happen.
Yeah, well, so the point with the league is a year ago the ceiling for the league was really high, but the floor was much higher. Meaning you looked at
ceiling in Florida.
I do, but you look at it, you say, hey, all these teams are going to get out of the first game, or nobody's going to get upset. You got 7 teams you're projecting, you think, to get out of the first weekend. It didn't play out that way. It feels like this year there's some teams who can make a real run with a good draw, and then there's also, as you just said, some teams wouldn't shock you if they lost early in the tournament,
right.
Didn't make it to weekend number 2.
Well, Vanderbilt is that team. I mean, if Vanderbilt got the right draw, they're incredibly dangerous because they've got Tanner. If Nichols starts shooting again, and they've got Duke Miles back, and then, I mean, their post is questionable, but those guys are – they're serviceable players, but they're guard play. When I get in the tournament, I want my guards. I want somebody handling the ball because when it comes down to it, at a certain moment, you got to make free throws and you got to have somebody who can create a shot.
And that's where your concern with Tennessee is. Can they get consistent enough guard play?
Right. All right, so quick thought on Vanderbilt's 86-82 win over Tennessee. You truly do have to put it behind you because it's over now. The regular season is over now. Basketball is a tournament sport, and you're now into the most important part of the sport. Give me a thought.
No, you can't score 22 points in a half and turn it over 9 times or whatever the number ended up being in the first half and think you're going to advance. I mean, you're not. Now, I will say this: when you score 60 points in a half, you got to be cutting hard into a deficit.
Mm-hmm.
But Tennessee couldn't get enough defensive stops to really mount anything. You know, you were looking for an 8-0, 10-0, 12-0 run type deal, and they couldn't get there.
I think the biggest run was 7-0.
Yeah, you could not get it to double digits and really get Vanderbilt rattled. They made shots, and Tennessee did not get enough consecutive defensive stops.
Yeah, I don't think Tennessee played well defensively in the second half, but I don't think that you can take away from Vanderbilt the shots that they made and the fact that they went 21 of 25 at the line. And I know a lot of those came in the last 2 minutes when it became Fallapalooza, but Tennessee was executing that well. They were giving themselves a chance to extend the game, and Vanderbilt just never opened the door because they kept making their free throws.
Yep, they did. And, you know, again, if you're Tennessee, you can't be down 10 at the half. I mean, they're lucky they were only down 10 at the half when you scored 22 points.
Right.
I mean, Tennessee's just got to play more consistent basketball for 40 minutes than what they've been playing. That's their challenge.
All right, got to hit two other sports in the Rackley Roofing recap. Softball, Lady Vols are now 23-0, 3-0 in the SEC, overcoming a 4-0 deficit today. Gabby Leach with the walk-off home run. Lady Vols win over LSU 8-5. On Friday, typical Lady Vol performance. Sage Marjatko, complete game 4 hitter. Lady Vols win 5-0. Home runs from Mackenzie Butt and Talon Holly. Yesterday, Saturday, come from behind Lady Vol effort as they score 6 in the bottom of the third and then 3 more in the sixth on their way to an 11-6 win. They trailed 4-0 after 1.5. Aaron Newer and Maddie Rutan combine to get the win and do a nice job. Rutan 2-0 on the season as she gets the victory. Lady Vols get home runs. Again, they continue to hit the long ball, which is a big deal. Alana Leach going in left field gets a 2-run homer in the ball game. Gabby Leach also plays well, 4 for 4, 3 runs scored and 3 runs driven in. And she ends up with 2 home runs in the game. Talon Holly also with a home run. But today, it was the bottom third of the order for the Lady Vols. They go 5 for 9, 2 3-run homers, drive in 6. And that's where the power came from to overcome, again, down 4-0 in the fourth, and to come back and get the victory. 23-0, 3-0 in conference play. Going to be the number 1 team in the country again this week.
Yeah, grit and depth is what stands out to me about this team right now. Or maybe grit and complete. What you have is you got a pitching staff and a pitching rotation. How many people in the country can sweep a conference series to start with their best pitcher on the shelf and not playing? How many people are getting the production they're getting out of the bottom of their lineup that this team's getting? This is a very complete softball team right now. Karen Weekly keeps telling me, we're going to lose at some point. You're like, oh, okay. But, I mean, they will lose at some point. But, again, they're very complete. They can hit 1 through 9 in the order. They can pitch it well from multiple people. And they just keep finding ways to win. They got a lot of grit about them. They've got to be a fun team to coach. I don't want to say easy, but they've got to be a fun team to coach if you're Karen Weekly. I mean, you watch that game today, and it's like they're not worried about nothing. They're just worried about the next at bat. We're down 4-0. We'll get that back. And sure enough, they did, walked it off.
The baseball team did not fare as well on Sunday, losing 6-0 to Wright State. Wasted a good 5-inning pitching performance from Evan Blanco. 5 no-hit innings, got into the 6th, and things just kind of fell apart for him. Vols had a chance to score in the 3rd, got thrown out at the plate, and never really threatened again the rest of the ball game. But they did win the first 2 games in the series, 4-3 on Friday night. Tegan Coons, Brandon Arvidsson, and Brady Frederick combined to strike out 14. Frederick gets the win, and Manny Marin knocks in the winning run in the bottom of the 9th in the 4-3 victory. Vols only 6 hits in that game, however, but they still get the victory. And then The Saturday game goes to Tennessee 5-4, 5 runs on 9 hits. Henry Ford hits his 5th home run of the year. Reese Chapman with his first bomb of the year. Landon Mack got the win with 5 innings of 3-hit baseball. He gave up 2 runs, struck out 5. Cam Appenzeller came in and pitched 2 innings, gave up 2 runs. And then Braden Krenzel comes in and closes the door. 2 innings for the Vols, allowed 1 hit, struck out 4, his second save. Vols take 2 of 3 against the team that is the 7-time defending Horizon League champions. We certainly know who they are and understand their record doesn't matter as much as the level of competition. I think the bottom line is you're seeing more teams, the midweek opponents, the non-conference opponents, beat some of these bigger names in the SEC, and it happened to Tennessee 1 time out of 3 this week.
Well, it certainly did. You're seeing teams lose across the country. Midweek type teams are getting beat on the weekend. I think a couple things. One, first of all, Josh Elander calling his team's offense on Sunday immature at bats, just immaturity, just too many hacks. Big home run swings. He talked about launch angles, had too many fly ball outs, just a really immature approach to the plate. He was clearly frustrated with the way that his team approached the pitching and was the way they were standing in the batter's box. Here's the other thing I wonder about baseball, and this is going to come completely out of left field, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Baseball's different, and college baseball is different than it used to be. And I think that you're having to deal with different stuff than you used to. And what I mean by that is basically everybody's on a full ride. A lot of people have NIL deals and different things like that. Whereas a few years ago, I think the hunger could have been different. I think the challenge for head coaches in baseball is to manage a different mentality of a player who's, I don't want to say got it made, but is living a pretty good. He's not scrunging by just getting books or just getting a partial here. School's taken care of. Most of those guys are getting, they're getting rev share money. Some of them have NIL deals on top of that. So the maturity level has to be a little bit different there because you don't have that innate hunger, so to speak, that you once had. I wonder if that's a part of why you're seeing so many of these Power 4 big teams losing some of these games that seem really out of character.
Okay. John Wilkerson has a theory.
Okay. He would know much better than me.
Well, it's a really good one.
You should have interrupted me before I come up with my half-top brain theory. Go ahead.
That was okay. It's a really good one. We're going to give it after the break.
Okay.
But we remind you, Tennessee won the series with Wright State this weekend. And every time the Vols clinch a weekend series, you get a $9.99 haircut from Great Clips. Visit greatclips.com/UTBaseball to redeem the offer. Valid only at participating Knoxville, Chattanooga, Tri-Cities, and Middle Tennessee salons. Offer available for a limited time at participating locations. Great Clips, it's going to be great. Big Orange Rewind, your text questions, John Wilkerson's theory, anything you want to discuss, text us at 865-657-1278. We're presented by Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind.
Sponsored by First Horizon. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life.
By the natural gas utilities and pipeline companies in Tennessee.
Natural gas.
Pilot, the official travel stop of the Vols. See you out here. RJV Kubota, with 2 convenient locations in Knoxville and Nashville. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Hey Vol Nation, it's Coach Barnes, here to remind you why Pilot is the official travel partner of Tennessee Athletics. Every season is a journey, building on what's in the rear view while keeping your eyes on the road ahead. The folks at Pilot know all about that. They're out here to help you make the most of every mile. Just like things were always better in that Tennessee Orange, every journey's better with a stop at Pilot. See you out here.
In this town, we don't just root for the team. We are the team. We rise before the sun, stay long after the lights go out. We are Big Orange Country. And with this team stands another, UT Medical. We heal the hurt, fuel the comeback, keep Vol Nation stronger, tougher, together, with care that never lets up. UT Medical, official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation.
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
A look back and what's next. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Vol Network text line is 865-657-1278. And don't be waiting for the Thursday Mike Keith show to send in your question because we won't have one this week.
Basketball.
So there's no Mike Keith show this week. Unless you consider the game broadcast to be.
That's not the Mike Keith show.
It's not at all. No. No. It's that the game will be much more serious, I promise. John Wilkerson's theory about why these mid-majors are knocking off some of the powerhouses in various conferences, but in the SEC, is the roster limits.
Yeah.
And the theory behind that is instead of taking extra players and basically, as he says, redshirting a JV team. Now these guys, instead of coming to a program like Tennessee's where they understand they're going to sit, they're going places and play. Some guys who would be platoon-type players or bullpen arms for certain schools are now everyday players and starting pitchers at these schools. They're quality players.
That's a good point.
But the LSUs and the Vanderbilts and the Tennessees and the Floridas, they have taken these players for years and stockpiled them.
Right.
And you can't do that anymore because you don't have the low partial scholarship, as you said. Every player is on scholarship now, so it's different. And you don't have the walk-ons because there were certain occasions that players wanted to go to a certain place and they would choose to take books or nothing to go play baseball at their favorite school. Can't do that now. So he thinks already we are seeing the benefits. And these are some quality programs. I mean, High Point is a nice program. Wright State's a nice program. Some of the directional schools in the state of Louisiana have always been quality programs, just like Lipscomb and Belmont and East Tennessee and Tennessee Tech. I mean, these programs have played. Mm-hmm. They just don't have as much depth, and generally when you play them in certain instances, they can't throw their best guy. Well, suddenly their second best guy or their third best guy is higher quality.
Yes, and I think it's a great point, and not one that I obviously had thought of and hadn't put that together.
I hadn't either.
As I sit here and listen to you explain that, the other thing that jumps to me too is, in addition to not being able to stockpile those guys, you also are losing some of your upper tier guys if you're a Power 4 school because they're going in the portal.
Right.
So your roster retention is not what it once was, and you have because some of those guys just want to go play. They didn't pitch enough or they didn't get enough playing time wherever, so they've moved. And then the limitations of the roster size kind of magnifies all that. What makes a lot of sense.
Well, you think
that's why
about,
John's smart, by the way.
Well, he knows it, and I think he is just spot on. So when you watch the Vol Network's Monday meeting tomorrow night on the Tennessee Valley Sports Network or WVLT in Knoxville, act surprised when he says that because but I did give him credit.
Yes, you did.
I did.
It's a great point.
It is a fantastic point because, and the other part of it too that sort of factors in. Let's talk portal. Okay, you want to go play pro ball, and you're leaving Virginia like Henry Ford did. Henry Ford's not going to go somewhere where he's not guaranteed at-bats. Now, maybe he's a bad example because he's a top-level portal player, but he's got to play. And so some guys, maybe you leave North Carolina State, and maybe somebody who's not as big or name-worthy is willing to let you play shortstop every day and get every at-bat. And so that's what you need to do. So portaling down is not the end of the world in all of this because the money in baseball is not as crazy as it is in football or basketball.
Correct.
So some people portal down in order to get opportunity.
Well, I think it's all about opportunity.
Sure.
And I think that's what you're looking at in all sports, and baseball being an example. But like, for example, a college kicker. I think a high school kicker, if I were advising a high school kicker, okay, don't go somewhere and sit. Go somewhere and kick.
Right.
Go kick. Go get tape. Go prove you can kick. I don't care what college level it is. Go show that you can kick because there's going to be a bunch of Power 4 teams looking for a kicker.
Sure.
They're not going to bring in an unproven high school freshman to kick. They'll go find someone at a lower school that they can pay money to, and they can bring that person in, and bam, they've got a kicker that way.
Because every level of football wants a kicker who's done it before.
Mm-hmm. No question.
Because kicking, I mean, if you kick at, I mean, a small program, I mean, a smaller program, Tulsa, great. I mean, kicking at Tulsa is just like kicking anywhere else.
Kick it.
I mean, if you make 18 of 20 field goals at Tulsa and you decide you want to go to the SEC the next year, somebody's probably going to take you.
Yep.
I think what you're saying is right.
Well, and I think now for so many players, we talk about all the time NIL, and NIL is very important. And certainly for the elite players, it's a big deal. But for a lot of players, it's opportunity. I got to play.
Right.
I need tape. I got to play. I need reps. If I have visions of trying to make it in pro ball, it's going to be hard for me. You know, am I really going to sit for 3 years hoping to play? Because here's your fear in setting too, a little bit too, and coaches don't want to hear this, is players are naturally thinking, well, are they going to recruit over me in the portal?
Sure.
If I wait patiently, am I going to get my turn? Or are they going to recruit over me?
Or they're asking themselves the question, have I shown enough in practice that they're not going to recruit over
that they're
me?
going to take me with no experience over a guy out of the portal who's got a year starting under his belt at whatever sport and whatever position.
Well, but it's like what Tennessee did not do with Brazel, Staley, and Matthews. They felt like they had what they needed, and so they did not portal over those players.
Right.
And it was a very good decision. But in some cases, but if you had gone and looked at doing something else there because you could improve yourself, in some ways, how could you not?
Right.
I mean, that's the difficult part of it.
And that's the whole challenge
A yin and yang.
in roster management for all sports, because the mentality for coaches for years, whether you're a young coach or you're a guy who's coached for decades, I got to stop. I don't have enough of anything. If I've got 7, I need 8.
Right.
If I've got 4 of them, I need 8 of them. If I've got 12, I need 16. I never have enough. Well, in this day and age, you can't stockpile in any sport.
No, it's NFL-ish. In football, it's NFL-ish. You're going to have to say, I can only afford 3 or 4 quality outside linebackers in my program. I can't go get 10 of them.
Right.
I can't afford it.
And that's a hard adjustment for coaches. And I think to John's point, it probably caught baseball coaches as off guard as anybody because there was a real confusion point for baseball coaches, particularly in this league. What's the roster size going to be?
Well, yeah, because you've got the
whatever they call
grandfathered in,
right?
Yeah,
and so now all of a sudden it's like, okay, can I carry this many? No, you got to get to this many. Okay, well then all of a sudden you lose some people, and there you go.
It doesn't affect you as much. Like Tennessee, I think they're grandfathered in at 39 this year. It doesn't affect you as much on the field right now. It affects because you're not going to have as many returning players in those cases as what they were doing before, and you will not have that year of development in everything that you want to do, including with Keegan Nolan, the director of baseball fitness. You're just not going to have it.
Well, and here's the other thing too: when you do all your inter squad stuff, particularly in the fall, do you have enough quality? Do you have enough arms to give guys good at bats for the development of pitching and the development of hitting?
That's a good point. By the way, let me ask you, we're going to need to get a break before we go to the text line. What, if anything, did you think came out of the president's meeting on Friday with all the people about the state of college sports?
I know what was said, that, executive orders coming in, that's got lawsuit written all over it when from that standpoint. I guess I've kind of moved into the mode of I've got to see something to really believe something is legit. I don't want to say it was a waste of time because I don't think that was fair. I do think it was a one-sided conversation because you didn't have any student-athlete representation at all in it. And you had a bunch of people saying, kind of, we want it the way it used to be.
And it looked like only about 5 people talked out of 60.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Right.
It just does. The answer can't be we want to go back and do it like we used to do it.
Right.
That's just not going to be the answer. So I'm very skeptical of what might come out of that. I'm more intrigued as we go to a break here, what's going to come out of the media rights side of it.
Yeah.
That part is maybe the bigger potential change to college athletics.
And you're talking about all the media rights being pooled from every conference in order to. That's what you're discussing.
Yes, and all of that pooling in will change. To me, has a good or bad, depending on what side of the fence you're on, changes the potential amount of money that can be out there and involved in things. I think that can have a greater impact than getting a bunch of former whatever to sit in a room and go, well, we want to do the transfers like we used to do it. We want to do. Mike, is that going to hold up in a court? Are you going to say you can only transfer one time without penalty, and that's going to hold?
The answer is no, because different states have different rulings. Things are already on the books about certain things right now, and so that the order wouldn't override all of those many things that have gone on. Now, maybe it starts a discussion, and maybe it gets Congress to move in a certain direction. I know more about it than I do.
Well, I don't disagree with their stance on transfers because I think as much as the money's talked about, what's affecting the game more than anything is you're having to re-recruit your players every year. But at the same time, too, now that you've opened that window, I don't know how you legally can close it without collective bargaining.
Collective bargaining would be the only way.
And what group of student athletes is going to sign off on collective bargaining?
Well, but the thing is, can they?
Yeah.
Who are they?
Yeah, who's going to lead them?
Right.
And why would you? Why would you limit money you can make? Why would you limit your freedom of movement? Like what's the advantage to the student athlete?
Let's put it this way. We both have sons. We both have daughters as well. But let's say our kids are in a situation right now where they're playing sports and they're getting paid a whole bunch of money. And we think as fans, well, yeah, there should be collective bargaining. But do we want it right now while our kids are making the money? No.
Right.
And does that sound selfish? I don't know that that's necessarily selfish. To your point, who steps forward at one point from the students group and says, we're willing to set something in place that might penalize how much we're actually getting at this moment? That keeps being the thing. I think the collective bargaining's dead on, but who grabs that group, who leads them, who convinces them to take that step, when I think in reality what you're going to end up seeing is those people are just going to keep passing the buck. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let the sophomores deal with that. And the sophomores go, that's a great idea. Let the high school seniors deal with that.
I don't know how it gets – I just don't know how it gets there.
I know what we get. We get a break right here. You're listening to Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
Across the state of Tennessee, you will find towns big and small, all with that big orange passion, just like you see at First Horizon, serving communities big and small, offering big bank products with small bank passion. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. That's First Horizon, proudly serving Tennesseans for over 160 years. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Tennessee Athletics.
Rackley Roofing is now the official roofer of the Vols, and Rackley is more than a roofing company. They're part of the communities where they work and live, investing in neighborhoods and opening doors to a career in an industry that's growing year after year. Rackley Roofing's mission is clear: transform the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Because Rackley believes the ladder to a great roof is only as good as the people who climb it. Rackley Roofing, building roofs, building futures.
At Sonic, the All-American Smasher is at the top of the burger food chain. Get it hand smashed and made to order with a side and medium drink for just $6. That's not just a big deal. That's a giant, massive, gargantuan, humongosaurus rex of a honkin' big deal for just $6. A deal this big shouldn't cost this little. Get the Sonic $6 All-American Smasher meal today.
Tax not included. Exclusions apply. Limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
You want to live free? Yeah.
On the court, a perfect assist sets up success. That's what the Ford F-150 truck can do for you. With outstanding towing and payload numbers, F-150 delivers the power, capability, and reliability you need to make every play. It's game on in the Ford F-150. This is Mike Keith. For great offers on the best-selling full-size truck in Tennessee, see your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Volunteers. Go Vols!
Based on S&P Global Mobility total U.S. new vehicle registrations for the standard full-size pickup segment, retail year-to-date April 2025.
The Big Orange Rewind continues, presented by Calhoun's.
Question on the Vol Network text line, our friend Roger in Lewisburg. By the way, the Vol Network text line is 865-657-1278. Roger says, I would argue that since the Pat Summitt era, Lady Vol softball has been the premier UT athletic program based on consistency and competing for championships. I realize baseball won a national championship and basketball is an NCAA tournament team annually, but I'm talking about year in, year out over that period. Also, the most fun to watch, in my opinion, says Roger in Lewisburg. I mean, if you go back over a period of time, I mean, Tennessee basketball did have a lull after the Bruce Pearl era ended. Really at the end of the Bruce Pearl era into Donnie Tyndall and the first 2 years of Barnes. So, I mean, they had 3 years where they were a 500 team.
You had one run to the Sweet 16 if you're Conzo Martin. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean,
you had one, but it was a one-off. It was a 1 year. It was a 1 year deal.
Yeah, that was the year they had to play themselves in.
They played in Dayton, and
that was the team that underachieved so much in the regular season, and then played like they were supposed to in the NCAA tournament. I think they were 24-15 or something like that.
Yes,
24-13, and they started playing and should have beaten Michigan and gone to the Elite Eight. Baseball is a Tony Vitalo thing completely.
Complete revival there because they were, I mean, no offense to Dave Serrano, but they were not, and obviously the Tide Riley era was not very good. So Pat Summitt's last game was 2012.
Spring of 12, yeah.
Spring of 12. So you're talking over the course of the last 13 years.
I mean, I think
Barnes would have been here for 11 of those 13.
He's been here, but I mean, he didn't start winning until they started going to the NCAA tournament in 18. And so this will be the 8th straight NCAA tournament they've made. I mean, the softball team has been a preeminent program for, since during the Pat Summitt era. You cannot deny their place. They have not won a national championship yet. This team's 23-0. They are a lot of fun to watch. That's true. It's an interesting statement. I had thought about it that way, but it's an interesting statement.
Yeah, I mean, I think Karen Weekly has done a really nice job advancing the program and evolving the program, particularly over the last 3 or 4 years since her husband stepped away from it, as she's worked to get her staff the way she wants it, the way the game has changed in terms of now having pitching staffs, and not just a pitcher. There's multiple programs out there with a staff like they have. She's done a good job evolving the game and continuing to produce. I mean, they're fun to watch. It's a great game. It really is.
Tanya from Nashville, Amari Evans answered the call Saturday and made the most of his opportunity. How does his development help this team as it heads into tourney time, even when Nate Ament returns? Will the Vols make it a priority to retain him?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think you've got – listen, there's nothing about Amari Evans' mentality, game, his approach to things that doesn't fit Rick Barnes' program. When you talk about culture, Amari Evans, from a basketball standpoint, paints all of that perfectly. Retaining him, you certainly want him back. To the point of him taking advantage of his opportunities, since Ament's been out, Mike, 38 points, 17 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 steals, a block, and only 1 turnover, playing 92 minutes of basketball.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, really good development, particularly taking care of the basketball, earns you a lot of trust. He's a good defender. He's got to be in your rotation. Now, how does that look? I don't think he's suddenly going to play 20 minutes and Ament's going to play 20 minutes. You're going to play them on the floor together. You'll go small from time to time. You can do some different things with him, but he has to be a part of what you do moving forward, because I think he can be an X factor for you in the postseason.
Final break in our first hour. More of your Vol Network text line questions coming at 865-657-1278. This is Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
The torchbearer flame, it's more than a symbol. It's the light of the volunteer spirit, guiding, enduring, eternal. And just like that flame, natural gas never fades. It's dependable, powerful, always fueling Tennessee, from our homes to our industries. 2 flames, 1 Tennessee. Natural gas, keeping the volunteer spirit burning bright.
Hey, Vol fans, did you know anyone can shop Co-op? We're not exclusively for farmers. We're here to supply everyone with essential supplies for farm, home, and animal. With more than 80 years of being the go-to rural lifestyle source in Big Orange Country, our family of co-ops is driven to serve you and your chore list. Find a location near you by visiting ourcoop.com and go Co-op.
If you're all Vol, then you know the ultimate Tennessee shopping experience is at Alumni Hall. With 6 Tennessee locations, you can shop officially licensed apparel from top brands like Nike, Champion, Peter Millar, Comfort Colors, plus hats, gifts, accessories, and more. Load up on the best volunteer gear and get $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Check your rewards balance by downloading the Alumni Hall app or shop alumnihall.com for delivery to your door. Tennessee has the best fans, and the best fans shop at Alumni Hall. Go Vols!
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouthwatering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve Vol fans since 1983.
The Vol Network's Big Orange Rewind continues. Presented by Calhoun.
Hunter has a question on the text line, Brent Hubbs. Had such high hopes for basketball. Why do you think they just can't close out a game?
Well, I mean, I think their defensive numbers in the second half are not as good as their first half defensive numbers. I think that's a big part of it. I think that they have had some scoring lulls down the stretch, which has cost them at times. They've turned it over in some horrible situations late in the game. They just haven't finished 40 minutes. And, and the problem is it's not like there's been a couple of games where they lost a 6-point lead late. I mean, they lost double-digit leads down the stretch of games, which really stand out to you. So, I mean, I think it's a combination of things. I don't know that it's one particular thing, but I think when you add all those up together, it's cost you at different points in times.
Want to mention in our final seconds of this hour, Tennessee against the Game 2 winner of the SEC tournament, either Auburn or Mississippi State, from Nashville. Airtime is 2:30 Eastern on Thursday. Game time is 3 o'clock Eastern right here on the Vol Network.
Miss any of today's Rewind? Catch the full podcast with Mike Keith and Brett Hubbs. UTSports.com. We are the Vol Network. Exclusive guest, insider analysis. You know what happened. Find out why and how and what happens next. This is Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's. A taste of Tennessee. Grab a taste after the next Tennessee game. Calhoun's.
We're glad you're taking time to join us, and we're excited to be talking about a variety of Tennessee sports. We've talked about softball, we've talked about baseball, we've talked about basketball. We haven't, I guess we've gotten into NIL a little bit, touched on that just a wee bit, and we're a week away from football starting. We're excited about seeing what the players look like. Most of the guys I've seen look great. I was with one of them in the lunch line the other day, and I'm like, wow, you've slimmed down. Not that he was heavy to start with. And I said, what do you weigh? And he weighs more than he did last fall. I'm like, really? And he was telling me all kinds of stories and talking about Derek Owings, the new director of football sports performance.
I call him a strength coach.
Strength coach.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
The strength coach, let's face it, Brad. The strength coach was the guy at your high school who also taught driver's ed and typing.
It's very different. You're right. It's very different.
This is just like, okay, let's get in.
Or he was the cafeteria aide.
Yeah, let's get in 4 sets of 6, boys. Put on your belt. Don't hurt your back. I mean, and it wasn't really that different when I got to college here and started covering the program for the student radio station. It wasn't terribly different than that. Derek Owings is a lot more scientific. He's got an edge.
And a plan.
He's got an edge and a plan, and he's got a scientific background. And at the same time, what I like best about him is we're interested in doing things that you can use on the football field. We're not training for Mr. Olympia. We're not training to go to the Olympics and take on, the European countries in powerlifting. We're training to play football on September 5th. And September 12th and September 19th and so on, and especially September 26th.
Yes, and I mean it is all football. It's all football movement. It's all things to help you win on the football field, to create more explosiveness, more strength, more size, all of those types of things.
Well, and what the football player that I was talking with told me, he's excited to start spring practice to see how he can use some of the different things he's been working on via the training. He thinks he's going to be a better football player. And it was very interesting conversation with him to outline it. I said, are you enjoying it? And he said, well, I had to get used to it. But yes, he goes, I'm really enjoying it because I'm making gains. I'm seeing them. I already can sense how this is working. And I'm not going to give away who it is because I don't want to sell him out.
Sure.
I like talking to him in line anywhere. He's a good dude. But he's a leader. I mean, I'll tell you, he's not just –
right.
I mean, he's player. So – and by the way, he had a really healthy tray.
That's a given. That's a given.
Well, I mean, it's noticeable. Smokies is where the players eat, and employees are allowed to pay their way and eat there as well. The food is great. It's obviously very convenient because you don't have to get in your car and leave campus. And so I eat there most every day, and it's changed. I mean, what's being offered has changed, and it wasn't bad before. I mean,
right?
Listen.
It's not like everybody was eating the value meal in there every day.
No,
you know?
and I mean, it's not like, what was it, Gibbs Hall, when we used to get to eat one day a week in media days, or when I started in the NFL in 1998, it was steak and baked potato, and you could make your own ice cream sundae, and I mean, it's not been like that. It's been well done. Like I said, the food's very good, and they do a wonderful job preparing it. But are some of the proteins different? Yes. Are some of the vegetables different? Yes.
And some of the preparation of those things are different.
Well, that's my point. Yeah, I mean, it's a very different looking setup, and they clearly know what they're doing. And I'll tell you this, I didn't know who he was at the time, but Derek Owings is around there quite a bit. Now that I've interviewed him, I'm like, oh, you're that guy.
The gatekeeper. You're the gatekeeper down there. I will say this, for every one of those young men who are on spring break this week, choose wisely, my friend, because Monday when you come back and you get ready to start spring practice and you continue back into those workouts, take care of yourself. Be smart this week in how you go about your dietary plans and your conditioning plans to be ready to go come Monday morning.
I think the experience that they had on January 21st and 22nd, the first 2 days of the program, will probably serve as a good reminder, because I saw some of that, and it wasn't going as planned for many of them, but that's okay. I mean, he's changed it.
Mm-hmm.
He's changed everything. And I think they have responded well to that so far. I think it will be fascinating to see how they keep working on strength and particularly speed, all the flexibility things that they do while spring practice is going on, because he feels like that's going to be a time they're going to keep building.
Yeah, and I think he feels like they have to. You can't take a month. You don't get a month reprieve because you've got to keep to get where they want to try to get to and all those numbers and things. That there's not 4 weeks of, hey, we can shelf this and come back to it after spring ball is over. I think the other reason why, in talking to players, that the buy-in has been what it has been is he's very accessible to the player. He has a lot of one-on-one conversations with players. So there's been some very right out of the gate relationship building with guys. And he didn't just say, bring me the leadership council and I'll talk to them, and then they go filter it down to everybody else. It's to my understanding and talking to a lot of different players, they all feel like they can go have conversations with him, and he wants to have conversations with them, whether they're a senior player, whether they're an incoming freshman, whether they're a redshirt junior who hasn't played a snap. There's conversations there about their well-being, growth, development as a player. That's a tailored conversation to them, and not just a bullet point conversation in passing, if you will.
Well, to take it a step further, that role is so important on any sports team, but in particular a football team, because a lot of times the strength coach, as you like to call him, is the guy who is the connection between the players and the on-field coaching staff. They know what's going on. They know if somebody is having a hard time mentally or emotionally. They know if players don't get along. They know if there's a girlfriend problem somewhere. They know if there's a school problem somewhere. They can feel things building. They hear things. Oftentimes, if that role is plugged into the people, because they spend so much time in the offseason together, if that role is plugged into the people involved in the program, the players, but as the human beings, so many problems are alleviated and avoided altogether because of that knowledge of these people as human beings. And so his meeting, he did confirm. I asked him flat out, I said, is it true you've met with every player on the team? He said, absolutely. Every player on the team. That's a big deal.
That is a huge deal.
Not just for what his goals are on the bench press or the 40 time or, the squat or whatever, but the connection. Big deal.
Yeah, I think so. Here's another part that's changed too. You talk about some of the changes that have taken place. A lot of these guys who come in out of the high school ranks have had some kind of personal trainer since they've been in high school for their development. So they're used to a personal connection. That's different than the old high school strength coach you were talking about earlier. They have somebody who's helping them tailor something to their bodies and to their development and to what they need to do. So when you have that coming in, you don't really want to revert and just kind of group everybody together. You have to continue to build those relationships. I think the best thing he has done since he's arrived here is have those conversations. Because I think the other part of it is a given, right? We have a workout plan. We know what we're going to do. How do you get everybody to buy in? How do you create the accountability you're looking for? You got to sit like this and talk to them. You got to have a conversation with them. You can't have the senior leader or the position group leader convey to that guy that's what they need to do. No. You and I are going to have a conversation about it right now.
And that person, Derek Owings, can tell the head coach what the word is on the street.
Mm-hmm.
He could say, Coach Heupel.
And it's an unbiased opinion.
It's an unbiased opinion.
Which is important.
He's almost like an ombudsman in that role because Heupel wants that.
Yep.
Heupel needs that. Every head coach needs that.
No question.
And he's clearly, you would say, up in their business, but in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
The way, if these are your kids, you want somebody who is that kind of involved.
And he walks through the door with a ton of credibility.
Oh, gosh.
So that helps. This guy wants to know. Wait a minute. This guy wants to know what I've got going on, what I'm doing. Wait a minute. I'm going to listen to this guy because this is what his resume says.
Again, go back to social media. When he was announced to be Tennessee's new director of football sports performance, go back and look at the tweet, look at the Instagram post, look at Facebook, whatever. Read the comments underneath and how many Indiana and James Madison players, Texas Tech players, all these former players, the comments, especially from the Indiana players, it's incredible. There's your seal of approval that you want.
No question.
If the fellas believe in this person, and the credibility part of it is what you're saying. You're 100% right. If the fellas believe, you've already gotten better.
Mm-hmm. And the fellas who believe were the ones who just hoisted a trophy.
Absolutely. Get a break, and then we're going to reel them off from the Vol Network text line. We will get them all in before we end this program at 865-657-1278. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind on the Vol Network.
Sponsored by Food City, the official supermarket and tailgating headquarters of the Vols. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping experience. By Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, the official insurance of the Vols. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Co-op, proudly supplying your rural lifestyle in Big Orange Country. And by UT Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation.
A farm, a family, and a tradition of premium fresh sausage that's lasted almost a century. Using only the freshest ingredients and finest cuts of meat for flavor that is locked in instantly. Each bite of Swaggerty's Farm sausage transports you back to a warm, cozy southern kitchen. leaving you satisfied and ready to take on the day. Swaggerty's Farm, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. Now available at your local retailers.
Tennessee pride runs deep from Neyland Stadium to the family farm. At Farm Credit Mid-America, we stand behind the Tennessee farmers who feed and fuel our nation, just like we cheer for the Vols on game day. Because we understand that whether you farm every day, only on the weekends, or simply enjoy time on property outside of town, we have loans to fit your needs. Because farming matters, and so does every play, every harvest, every heartbeat of Tennessee. Learn how Farm Credit Mid-America serves the great state of Tennessee at fcma.com. Loan subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Farm Credit Mid-America is an equal opportunity lender.
Fall fans, ready to score big on your next home? Clayton Homes, Oakwood Homes, and Love Homes are proud sponsors of Tennessee Athletics and proud to help you find your dream home. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for your forever home, their teams across Tennessee have your back. With 29 locations statewide and Energy Smart Homes designed for year-round savings and a lifetime of comfort, it's never been easier to make the move. Stop by today and see why so many families and Vol fans trust Clayton, Oakwood, and Love Homes to turn home ownership into a win.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
This is Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Ball Network text line 865-657-1278. Junior from Middle Tennessee. Any chance you can go over our projected seed line and bracket projections, and also the number one projected seeds who would you consider a better draw would be for us? Thanks, Junior. What are you hearing today? You guys wrote about that on VolQuest.
Well, it's that time of year. They're a 5, they're a 6, they're a 5. So
was it Lenardi who said he dropped him to a 6 yesterday?
Yeah, and then brought him back to a 5 this morning. So I think Tennessee's going to end up being a 5. I do. I don't think they're going to end up falling to 6. I think they're going to be a 5. I think to get to a 4, you got to be playing in the semifinals, and you probably got to have some help, or you got to win in the semifinals and be playing on Sunday to move up.
I think the highest they could be, even if they won the tournament, I think 4 would be the highest they could be.
Yeah, I think so too. I just that's my feeling.
Because you look at who the 3s are potentially, and I think they're pretty locked in. The ones in the 2s are really, really solid. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of the ones could drop back to a 2.
Well, I mean, UConn and Florida are kind of teetering there. But some people moved Florida to the 1 line yesterday based on the fact that they won at Rupp and UConn lost.
And they've won 11 straight. Mm-hmm. So if you want the hot basketball team, I mean, basically all the claims about how people are seeded are bogus. They're just all made up. You know, it's like, well, head-to-head's a big deal. Is it? Strength of schedule. Really?
We don't have any idea what matters.
No. I mean, it's like bingo. They put, look. Arizona, everybody. Do you have,
Thank you very much.
But I shouldn't say bogus, but but they said strength of schedule. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's what the flavors are, and they do put things together because there are things to consider, like TV matchups, how you could end up with a path to the Final Four. I mean, the TV is the biggest deal that the NCAA makes money on. Mm-hmm. The NCAA doesn't make money on other stuff like they make money on the NCAA tournament. That's their biggest revenue producer.
Well, it's what carries Olympic sport championships.
Right.
If you don't have the NCAA tournament, in basketball, you don't have the College World Series in trouble, the Softball World Series in trouble, wrestling championships are in trouble, and on and on.
I guess to say it seriously, the formula, I'm sure there is some sort of formula, but they also do have feels for how things and how teams will be placed in certain places. So it's not like they say, okay, the number 7 team, by virtue of this exact thing that we do, is going to be the 2nd seed, the number 2 seed in the East. They don't work west to east or east to west and say, okay, the 9th overall seed is going to be the top 3 seed, and we'll put them here. They don't do that. They pull and they move things around a little bit, and I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong, but it's like the stuff that we talked about for years when we did a talk show. That's for guys who do talk shows.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it used to be the last 10 meant something. And I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, when you get to start splitting hairs, when you get it down to, because we talk about KenPom, we talk about quad 1, quad this,
fun.
Quality win, quality loss, all of these types of things. At the end of the day, it's an eyeball test.
Right.
Who do you like?
That's my point.
Who do you like?
You said it better than I did.
And here's who I like, okay?
Okay, good.
I think Arizona, Duke, Michigan are 3 locks for number 1 seeds.
Regardless of what tournament play looks like.
Okay.
Agreed.
Then I think UConn and Florida are battling for that 4th one. Those are my top 5 teams in whatever order.
And that's a really interesting battle because UConn certainly has a pedigree under Hurley, and Florida's the defending national champions, who's come back and won the SEC by 3 games.
Right. And so what does that look like? To me, eyeball test, I've not watched UConn enough probably to have a accurate eyeball test. I like the completeness of the Florida team when their guards are making shots.
But that's the point, is, again, it's eyeball test.
Mm-hmm.
And who's sitting there and says, at this point, these are the ones who have to get in? Or, for all we know, UConn's ranked ahead of Michigan, and so is Florida.
Right.
I mean, we don't know.
Here's going to be
somebody's going to be a disappointing number 2. Go over who the 2s figure to be. Let's say, just for the purpose of Big Orange Rewind, that UConn's the number 1, 2. So they're the 5th team in the whole thing.
Okay, then you got Michigan State.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
they're going to be a 2. You mentioned we're going to go. We think UConn would be a 2 there,
right?
Nebraska would be a 3. Houston would be a 2.
Sure.
Illinois would be a 2.
Yes.
You've seen Illinois and Houston.
Yeah.
You didn't see Houston live, but not in person, I shouldn't say.
I mean, they're the real deal. And Illinois really, I mean, that freshman Wagler, who was a 3-star recruit, and then all the names that
that you have a hard time pronouncing.
Well, what's really hard about that, it's each one individually is not that difficult.
But when there's 3 of them on the floor.
When they're passing to each other, stop doing that. Throw it to Wagler. I just wanted Wagler to handle the ball there for a minute.
Here's going to be the challenge for the SEC, though, because they put the pod seeding in. If you're top 4 seed or what is that, top 16 seed,
right?
You get to play closer to home. There's not going to be many SEC teams that are going to be in that top 4. So you're going to see some SEC teams playing way out of their region deal. I mean, Tennessee may go west.
I mean, there's been talk in some of the –
I mean, Lenardi's got them in Portland.
Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Arkansas and Philly, Vanderbilt and San Diego. That'll be the interesting challenge because we were talking –
Can I vote for San Diego?
We were talking in the first hour of the Rewind here, if you didn't get a chance to hear it. We were talking about what the SEC, they could make a run with the right draw. One of the challenges for SEC teams is going to be managing the road travel. Because remember, Auburn a couple of years ago got sent west. A lot of talk about how challenging it was to go play that far. Some of these SEC teams are used to playing across the mountain.
Right.
In close proximity.
Go to Charlotte or Greensboro or Atlanta. Yep.
In round 1 or 2. That's not going to be the case for many of the SEC teams this year outside of Florida, maybe Alabama.
This is from Kevin in Columbia, our buddy.
Okay.
By the way, Lady Vol softball plays Austin P in Columbia on Tuesday late afternoon. Get a chance to see that. That's going to be a great thing. Why do you think Tennessee goes into long scoring droughts every game? Is it the shooters, too much energy devoted to defense? Does Coach Barnes have a theory? Thanks, Kevin.
The defensive energy thing makes me I kind of chuckle at that a little bit because like nobody can score because they are too tired from what they're doing on defense.
They're out of breath.
I think what causes these scoring lulls for them is one, they're not passing the ball through the post. It's not getting into the hands of the post players to create better shots, either for that said post player or just to force the defense to move. Or two, when they feel the need for a shot, I think they end up with some poor shot selection. I think there should be times like, okay, guys, it's a 6-0 run. Okay, you've given up 6 straight or whatever. Somebody put their head down and go to the free throw line. Mm-hmm. Go to the rim,
that's
get
where
fouled,
they miss Ament right now.
and get to the free throw line. And that's what Nate Ament has done to help avoid those lulls, particularly in the second half, in the last 10 minutes where Tennessee's kind of closed out games. Kentucky, the exception recently. When Ament, after the first Kentucky game here, kind of really hit his stride, he was the guy in the last 10 minutes that squashed a run or said, okay, we got to go get a bucket here. Go find a way to get a bucket, and he's been able to do that.
Let's go to James from Cleveland. Since the transfer portal has been in effect, we haven't seen any Cinderella teams in the Final Four the last 2 seasons. Do you think that will continue?
Yeah, I think it's hard for a Cinderella team. Because here's the thing. How many years when you have a Cinderella team, which is typically a mid-major team coming out of nowhere, do you look at them and go, hey, North Dakota State has 4 seniors? Or George Mason's on a run to the Final Four, and they're starting 4 seniors who have played 3 years together. And they're good players. And this guy was under-recruited, and he's developed into this. I mean, it's Jared Verse, to borrow a football term.
Sure.
He ain't staying at Albany. He's going to go somewhere else and play football. Florida State's where he ends up. I think you're seeing the same thing in basketball. How many guys are you looking at that say this is a key transfer who's come in from a smaller school that has just killed that small school's chances of being a Cinderella team? I think it's going to be harder and harder to have Cinderellas. Here's the byproduct of that. First 2 rounds of the tournament, first weekend of the tournament, not the most entertaining. The last couple of weekends of the tournament to the championship, be as competitive as we've seen it the last couple of years because the better teams are advancing because they're avoiding the upset because there's not that Cinderella out there.
The Vol Network text line, we still have time for your question or comment at 865-657-1278. More of your questions coming up on Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's, a proud sponsor of the Vols.
Every team knows great basketball starts with the fundamentals. At Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, they do too. Trusted coverage, local agents who know you by name, and service that's there when you need it most. For auto, home, and life, they're here to protect what makes Tennessee life so special. Because when you have a strong foundation, you can focus on the road ahead. Solid fundamentals, trusted coverage, Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Get a free quote at FBITN.com.
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
Hey, this is Rick Barnes. The great John Wooden said, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. That's why I put such an emphasis on preparation. I get to the gym early, before everyone else, so when they walk through the doors, I'm ready. Food City does the same thing. Long before the doors open, they're stocking produce, cutting certified Angus beef, and prepping ready-made meals. So when you walk into a Food City or the Food City Center, we're going to be prepared.
Tennessee fans, the Vol Shop has everything you need to support the Big Orange. With a 15,000 square foot store in the Student Union, and other locations on Cumberland Avenue, in the University Commons, and inside Neyland Stadium. The Vol Shop is stocked full of official gear and exclusive apparel. The Vol Shop is your go-to retailer for Tennessee merchandise. If you can't make it to campus, shop online at utvolshop.com and be sure to follow them on social media. The Vol Shop, the official campus store of the University of Tennessee.
Week ahead. The final analysis on this week. Big Orange Rewind. Presented by Calhoun's.
This season, enjoy and celebrate with the great refreshing beverages that support the University of Tennessee Athletic Department. Light and crisp, truly hard seltzer. Twisted tea, real brewed iced tea with a twist of lemon. Modelo, brewed for full-time Vol fans. Coors Light, choose chill. And Vol Lager from Yeehaw Brewing Company, distributed across the Volunteer State by Cherokee Distributing. Remember, celebrate responsibly, and 21 means 21. Vol Network text line is 865-657-1278. Glenn from Smyrna, a lot of Middle Tennessee. Our basketball team can play with anyone when they are locked in and playing on all cylinders. Our tendency this season has been giving up big leads. What do you think leads to this, and how can the team fix it going into the NCAA tournament? I think you were just hitting on some of that with the scoring drought stuff.
A little bit. Yeah. I think the other thing, too, when you look at we're moving into that time of year where every commentator is going to talk about guard play. Guard play is the difference in tournament play. Tennessee has to defend guard play better. You've heard, and they have to play the guard position better. You've heard Rick Barnes now, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 of the last 4 games, 2 of the last 4 games say our guard play wasn't good enough today. That's on both ends of the floor. Tennessee's allowed too many guards to do too much inside the three-point line. They've got to defend straight line drives by the guards better.
Well, we just had a question about scoring droughts. Tennessee's scoring droughts largely come not so much from missed shots. They come from not getting enough shots because they're turning the basketball over. And that kills them. That was killing Tennessee in the first half in the game with Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt wasn't turning the ball over, so they were getting more opportunities to put the ball in the basket. And once Tennessee cut that out with about 17 and a half minutes to go in the game, it all turned around offensively. The other thing is the shots that they take at times don't reflect the style they want to play, which is to work the basketball inside and to work from that point, utilizing their excellent post players, but also utilizing the fact that a double team may come on a post, and then you get the opportunity to shoot an open three, or a driver gets an opportunity to make a shot. And very rarely have you seen it not good for Tennessee offensively when somebody takes a 12 to 15-foot shot. Because even if you miss, you're such a good offensive rebounding team, it works. So I think if they take care of the basketball and they play the style of offense they're equipped to do, I think they can beat anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they're a matchup problem for people due to what they can do if they're clicking on all cylinders. When they weren't early in the game, when they were allowing Vanderbilt to drive to the basket, Vanderbilt just shot 2s. They didn't make a 3 the whole first half, and they were up 10.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, they're a 3-point shooting team. So you've got to defend it, and then not getting your post players shot attempts in the first half? What? Especially with Nate Ament not in there? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to play a smarter brand of basketball.
You got to do what you do.
A more efficient brand of basketball
Yes.
on the offensive end, and defensively, you got to finish possessions. You cannot allow guards to get to the rim repeatedly on you. You can't allow the dribble penetration just banking on help, because that help oftentimes results in an open 3 for somebody else, and they're letting guards get to the free throw line too much.
Well, they beat Vanderbilt by limiting them to 65 points. They lost to them by giving up 86 points. Another question from the text line. Who put this in here?
Don't move on.
No, I'm going to read it. Ashley Farrell has a sense of humor.
Oh.
Hi, Mike Keith. How close were you to getting the job before Bob did? VFL since age 4. I turned 53 today. Happy birthday. Go Vols. Ever since I started listening to John Ward, I would turn the TV down and listen to the Vol Network. We all did.
Yes.
I think it was the law, wasn't it? Wasn't it in the...
Well, and when some of us were young, not every game was on television,
That's exactly
so
right.
you didn't even have to turn the TV down.
And Darnell from Mount Juliet would be right in there if he's 53 today. By the way, he's from Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant. Oh, Mount Pleasant. Have you ever been to Mount Pleasant Grill?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so the food's great, but they have a soda fountain. So they do milkshakes and... Oh, it's
an old school soda fountain?
Oh, yeah, old school.
Really?
Old school.
Really?
Yeah, it used to be kind of a 50s type diner. There was, and it stayed with Mount Pleasant Grill. It's like a little different, a little more upscale, but the milkshakes and everything.
So they've changed their menu, but they didn't lose the soda fountain.
Well, the menu, it was just burgers and fries and hot dogs and stuff before. Now the menu is more upscale.
Right.
But it's right on Main Street, right in downtown Mount Pleasant.
Put that on my list.
Yes. Not close at all. I was not a candidate for the job. I had taken a job with another team. I had signed a contract. The other point, too, was at the moment that I accepted the job with the NFL team was having some difficulties PR-wise with seemingly everything. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong PR-wise. They offered me an opportunity when I was a very young man. I was very appreciative of that opportunity, and there was no way I was going to turn my back on them, even with the job open here. So I had let people know here that I was not a candidate. And they were Coach Dickey was very respectful of that. I'll always appreciate the way he handled all of that. So I didn't interview. I didn't send in a tape or a resume. It was a different time, and I had a job that I had just accepted. And that would have been wrong if I would have tried to say, I want to go do something else, which Bob was going to get the job all along. He had worked all those years. He had done the work. He deserved the opportunity. He did a very good job representing the University of Tennessee, and it all worked out like it was supposed to. Come on. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You're exactly.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I have no snippy comment.
You have no rejoinder?
No, I have nothing other than I did not send my resume in. I was not a candidate for the job, nor should I have been.
From the Vol Network text line. I'll tell you more about Mount Pleasant Grill than I will about that, actually, because it's good. So many good places to eat in this state.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Lots of them.
Love that part of my job.
Lots of mom and pop, little independent, small business deals.
Just for a minute. The best thing that I ever found, though, and I can't think of the name of the place. It's in a little town in West Tennessee. And it's a market. And these markets that do lunches, that's always the best place to get breakfast or lunch. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yep, I agree with you.
This market had fried bologna sandwiches. Like thick cut, like the real thing. Mm-hmm. White bread with mustard.
Regular yellow mustard? Spicy mustard?
No Gouldens, no Grey Poupon.
Straight up mustard.
Just mustard. They just put that French's on there. Oh, gosh. My cholesterol will be like 9 million when I come back from one of those trips.
I love a good fried bologna sandwich.
Well, especially, like the real stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so this is from Ringgold, Georgia. I don't know that I've ever eaten in Ringgold, Georgia. I played baseball there before, but another story. I loved Harry Galbraith.
Harry Love.
I did too, Brett. I did too. Does Tennessee have any offensive lineman made like him? I'd love to hear any great Harry Galbraith story. Go Vols. Thanks, Brett from Ringgold, Georgia. I don't think they have anybody like Harry Galbraith.
Harry's hands. I mean, lots of players, lots of linemen have great hands. I had a chance to meet and actually hang out some with Harry Galbraith when he came back here long after his playing days. Of course, when he played, I was younger, But having a chance as a reporter and working for the Vol Network, and he would go on some road trips and see him, and to see the mammoth hands and how strong you could just tell. I mean, and he didn't even squeeze when you like. As soon as you put your hand, hey Harry, how you doing? Shake a hand or give him 5. You're like, oh, those hands are different.
Well, Harry was 6 feet tall, if that.
Yep.
And he had short arms.
Yep.
But his hands and his legs, they've had some good guards, and they've had some, and he was an interior player. I'm not comparing tackles to him. I don't know that they've ever had a guard like that before or since. I think Philip Fulmer would probably say the same thing.
I never understood, and I don't know that I could ever explain what the term heavy-handed mean. Who's heavy-handed? That's, to me, when you say he's heavy-handed, he's okay, I know what you mean, because it's Harry Galbraith. Because those hands were so different to me than so many other linemen you ever had conversations with.
Do you really want to hear a Harry Galbraith story?
Sure.
Well, I'm going to get a break so I don't forget it.
Okay.
And then I'll come back and I'll tell a quick one.
Okay.
Because I've got one that's one of my all-time favorite stories ever.
I love story time with Mike.
Story time with Uncle Mike. All right, we're back with more Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's.
Today's Big Orange Rewind, sponsored by
First Horizon Bank, big bank solutions, small bank spirit, the official bank of the Vols. Swaggerty's Farm Sausage, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. By the Tennessee Fund. Join the My All campaign today at IWillGiveMyAll.com. Rackley Roofing, the official roofer of the Vols. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
Vol Nation, if you're looking for quality performance apparel, look no further than Turtleson. Founded by UT alumni out of Bristol, Tennessee, Turtleson designs clothes and accessories that fit your lifestyle. From the office to the country club or the Tennessee Volunteers tailgate, Turtleson has the apparel that looks as good as it feels. Ask for Turtleson wherever you buy your volunteer gear or visit Turtleson.com to learn more. Turtleson is a proud sponsor of the Vol Network. Go Vols!
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouth-watering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve ball fans since 1983.
From the practice court to the fourth quarter, our attitude is always the same. Confidence and commitment can easily turn dreams into reality. Where there's a dream, there's a way. And that's First Horizon's philosophy. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. That's First Horizon. Over 160 years of banking based right here in the Volunteer State. It's no wonder First Horizon is the official bank of Lady Vol basketball.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit RJV Kubota locally in Knoxville or Nashville. RJV Kubota, a proud supporter of the Vols.
Mike, Brent, and you. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
If you love the Tennessee Vols, look for the new Vols Collector Cup at participating Hardee's locations. Rep the Big Orange, sip your favorite drinks, and receive 99-cent refills for the year. Class up your combo with the Vols Collector Cup today, only at Hardee's, proud sponsor of the Vols. Harry Galbraith's story.
Yes, sir.
Or he was Galbraith when we were in school. So he was ahead of me in school. Knew him a little bit. Just a really tremendously kind person. Off the field. On the field, there was a switch that could be flipped that made him a totally different human being. Not the same guy. But off the field, a delight. So he did some work for us on a spring TV show. And I don't think Harry had any desire to work in media, but he was a big star. He was the biggest star on campus at the time. He was a very agreeable human being. He loved doing it. He did a show with us, and it was a lot of fun. Afterwards, we decide that we're going to go to a place called Quarters.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Quarters?
I've heard it was.
I don't think it's there anymore.
No.
Quarters, and I was 21, so I'll just say that. You could get a cold beer at the Quarters, okay? You could also shoot pool. And so we went up there late afternoon on a weekday, and a whole group of us were with Harry. We're thrilled to be with Harry. And he's shooting pool, and he's just having a good time. And we're, enjoying the late afternoon, spring. And a gentleman comes up to Harry who has been overserved, and he has decided he's going to show all of his friends how tough he is.
Oh, no.
So this gentleman, who was not an impressive physical specimen, is basically hollering at Harry Galbraith that if he wanted to show how tough he was as a football player, he thought he could take Harry. Now, everyone just stops.
Of course. You don't want this.
No. And there might have been a fight every once in a while on the Strip. Occasionally, perhaps at an establishment where there was dancing or beverages of some sort. I mean, that might have happened in the day. I don't know if it when it went away or whatever, but in that time it did. So we thought we were getting ready to see one of the great floor wipings in the history of the Strip. And Harry pats the guy on the shoulder and says, "Buddy, I don't want any trouble." And the guy, instead of just letting it go, and his friends are trying to get him to let it go. They've got better sense. He keeps on agitating Harry. And so finally he sets the pool cue down. He puts his hand on the guy's shoulder. He says, "Listen, man." He goes, "I don't want any trouble." He said, "I'm sure you could whip me, and I just appreciate you." Basically, and I don't remember the exact thing, but more or less he said, I appreciate you not, you're not taking it to me right here. Guy's so shocked. His buddies are able to whisk him off, and we are just dumbfounded because a large man like that being taunted, I mean, that's just not a recipe for good. And Harry Galbraith was such a good guy. Now, if he'd been on the field, that'd been totally. I mean, if you watch tape of him against players on the field, he never lost one, ever. I don't want to say he's the toughest guy I ever saw, but pretty doggone close. But in this moment where he could have just, as we used to say as children, rearranged the guy's face, he chose not to, as the kind human being he was, understanding the time and place in the situation. And it always spoke to me. And when we lost him, I thought about that story right away because a lot of guys might not have done that. A lot of guys wouldn't have been grown up enough to do that. But he understood the difference between what he did on Saturday and what the real world was. He's a great human being. And that was a moment of total self-control because this guy was begging for it. Nobody would have blamed Harry for taking a swing.
Yeah, and that's why he had so much success because he understood.
Yes.
And he could manage himself and he could keep himself under control.
Wasn't great at pool. Bobby from Middle Tennessee. He wasn't. With how Evans has been playing, especially the last 2 games as a starter and the big game against Vanderbilt, do you see Barnes changing the lineup and starting Evans? It's tournament time now, and he shows he deserves to start now.
I mean, I think this time of year you're going with matchups. You're going with what you feel. I mean, do you want to play small? Do you want to play a smaller brand of ball? Meaning, do you take one of your post players off the court? Because I mean, he's not going to start over Nate Amen. He's not going to start, in my opinion, over Bishop Boswell because he's not a 2-guard. He's not going to start over Gillespie. So if you're going to play him, then you're going to take one of your posts off the court, in my opinion, and play that small ball, which we saw for about 7 minutes in Vanderbilt in Nashville in the win.
And Rick Bard sat 2 feet behind where I am right now at this very moment and laid out that was a possibility in December. And we all went, oh, okay. Yeah.
Sure, Coach.
And just goes to, that's why he's 71 years old and a Hall of Fame basketball coach, because he saw the potential in Amari Evans. I think if it's my money, I want Amari Evans coming off the bench right now. I think he is energy. I think he gives you something on both ends of the floor to pick you up in a way. I think his greatest value, getting Ament back, seeing what he can do. Now, I think the difference is instead of him giving you 14 minutes, can he give you 22 to 25? He was giving you 10 to 14. I like him for that length of time.
Well, and I think the other thing is because of what he's done, how he's taken care of the ball during this stretch, how he's played in these last 3 games. I think if you get an early sense, maybe you're not locked in offensively or you're not doing what you need to do offensively, I won't say quick hook, but it's a quick sub.
Sure.
Instead of saying, okay, we're going to work him into a rotation after the first media timeout or whatever. Now, if you look up and go, hey, we've gone 3 possessions and the ball hadn't touched the post player. All right, go, and get that. Because as Rick Barnes said after the game, he understands as much as anybody on the basketball team. It's got to go through the post. The ball's got to go through the post. So I could see him getting an earlier rotation, maybe not a starting spot, but an earlier rotation than we've seen.
Last 2 minutes, final question.
Okay.
I said we'd get them all.
All right.
Hey, guys, I'm James from Northwest Tennessee. Where in Northwest Tennessee? I know Northwest Tennessee.
Parts unknown, Northwest Tennessee.
He could be from Dyersburg. He could be from, a lot of places. Anyway, could you tell us what's going on with Troy Henderson's shoulder? I'm tired of seeing him in pain. Do we need to shut him down and get that fixed?
Well, he's going to get it fixed. The question is, can he manage the pain for a couple more weeks? Or is he to the point that he can't be available for you? I think you want to try to keep him available for you if you have foul trouble and in situations. But obviously what he's dealing with is very painful. We saw that on Saturday. So I don't know how much you see him over the course of the next 2 weeks.
It's very hard to run and jump with a shoulder like that because all the banging and pounding, it hurts. I can tell you from traveling with the ball club, he's doing everything he can, man. And they are really doing everything they can to help him. They went to that, I don't know if they call it the anaconda sleeve that he's wearing for his shoulder, which has the wrap that goes all the way down his left arm. Same thing Cade Phillips was wearing. Him hitting that shot, he's got a beautiful shot. He can handle the basketball. It would really help Tennessee to be able to have him. Unfortunately, it's very painful. And so how much can he tolerate? I know Chad Newman and the staff will do the very best job they can trying to get him to the SEC tournament. Tennessee will play this coming Thursday against either Auburn or Mississippi State. Airtime 2:30 Eastern. Tip right around 3 o'clock Eastern right here on your Ball Network.
Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
Rewind one more time to this weekend's action. Catch the podcast at utsports.com. Big Orange Rewind. We are the Vol Network.